to LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for 11th August 2023. Starting with the today's agenda, editorial, demolitions as state-sanctioned collective punishment from The Hindu, followed by the news update and the legal news update. Coming up to the editorial section of today's section, demolitions as state-sanctioned collective punishment. Now we need to understand what is the issue behind this particular problem. The aftermath of the recent violence in Haryana saw what is now a familiar pattern. Immediately after the violence, the local administration, backed by the state, demolished a number of homes in localities or neighborhoods. The demolitions in Nu are just the latest iteration of what has come to be called bulldozer justice. Now, the legitimacy of the action is the public, and the official justification is that the demolitions are carried out in order to remove illegal structures or encroachments. Municipal laws that authorize the removal of unauthorized structures are invoked as the legal cover for such action. Politicians, however, have gone on record to state that the course of action was undertaken to teach a lesson to the alleged rioters. Now, the form of questionable justice. After a year of such premeditated attacks, it can be safely said to be a form of state-sanctioned collective punishment, which is predominantly targeted against specific communities. Over the years, the courts have recognized that unauthorized structures are often the dwelling places of economically marginalized and vulnerable people who have been failed by the state in its obligation to provide shelter to all citizens. Hence, demolition should only take place after proper rehabilitation. When issuing a stay order on the demolitions, the High Court of Punjab and Haryana observed that what was going on had the appearance of ethnic cleansing. In this context, it falls to the court to enforce the rule of law and the constitution. The Honorable High Court of Punjab and Haryana's order marks the first time that the judiciary has taken active notice of this pattern of lawless bulldozer justice. Now, coming up to the national news of the day, WTO ranks India 18th in merchandise export. The World Trade Statistical Review gives data on merchandise and services trade broken down by geographical origin, main product groups and sectors, along with related data on key economic developments such as gross domestic product growth, commodity prices, and exchange rate fluctuation, mostly for 2022. The World Trade Statistical Review ranks India 18th in the list of merchandise exporters with exports of $453 billion and 1.8% of global merchandise trade share. India is ranked 7th in the list of services exporters with exports of $309 billion and 4.4% of global services trade share. India was 9th largest goods importer with imports of $723 billion and 3.4% share of global merchandise imports. India is ranked 9th in the list of services importers with import of $249 billion and 3.8% share of global services imports. Now, coming up to the next national news of the day, Pramod Bhagat-Sukant Kadam pair wins gold in Four-Nation Para-badminton. World number 1 men's double pairing of Pramod Bhagat and Sukant Kadam won a gold medal in SL3, SL4 category at the Four-Nation Para-badminton International in England. Bhagat also secured a silver in the singles SL3 category as well as a silver in mixed doubles. Kadam won a bronze in the singles SL4 category. Bhagat and Kadam defeated the India pair of Deep Ranjan Bisoi and Manoj Sarkar to secure gold in the men's double. Coming up to the next national news of the day, Meri Mati Mera Desh campaign launched to pay tribute to the Veers. The campaign will include various programs across the country to remember the brave hearts Veers. The Shilp Falakams memorial plaques commemorating them will be installed in village panchayat. This campaign is the concluding event of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which began on 12th March 2021 and has witnessed widespread public participation with over 2 lakh programs organized across India. Coming up to the next national news of the day, Standing Committee on Economic Statistics rename. The government has formed various committees after the year 1947 onwards, including Standing Committee on Economic Statistics. The Standing Committee on Economic Statistics has reviewed, thereafter renamed as Standing Committee on Statistics, to advise on all surveys as and when required by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. The Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation came into existence as an independent ministry in 1999 after the merger of Department of Statistics and Department of Program Implementation. The ministry has two wings, one relating to statistics and other for program implementation. The statistics wing, called the NSO, consists of Central Statistical Office, the Computer Center, and the National Sample Survey Office. Besides these two wings, there is National Statistical Commission and one autonomous institute, Indian Statistical Institute, and Institute of National Importance. The next national news, filmmaker Siddique passes away at private hospital in Kochi. Siddique's journey in the world of Malayalam cinema began with his directorial debut, Ramji Rao Speaking, along with his friend Lal. The duo created some of the Malayalam film industry's biggest comedy blockbusters, including In Harihar Nagar, Godfather, Vietnam Colony, Ramji Rao Speaking, and Friends, among others. He also directed films in Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi. Siddique carved a niche for himself in the hearts of film lovers with his innovative storytelling and versatile filmmaking style. He wove intricate narratives around relatable characters, skillfully blending humor and emotions. The next national news of the day, Lok Sabha passes bill that seeks to push theaterization. Lok Sabha on Friday passed a bill that seeks to empower the government to notify the setting up of inter-services organization, including joint service commands, and bestow power on heads of such organization to act against personnel from any of the three services to ensure discipline and effective discharge of duties. The Inter-Services Organization Command Control Discipline Bill 2023 was passed by the lower house amid a renewed push for theaterization, a long-awaited military reform for the best use of the military resources to fight future wars. The international news of the day, Pakistan President Alvi dissolves Parliament. Pakistan President Arif Alvi dissolved the National Assembly on Wednesday at outgoing Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's advice. This marks the end of the tenure of the current government and paves the way for the next general election. The notification for the dissolution of the assembly was issued by MAA Sadr, which said the National Assembly was dissolved under Article 58 of the Pakistan's constitution. The next international news, Iraq bans media from using term homosexuality. Iraq's Media and Communication Commission has issued a directive instructing all media and social media platforms in the country to refrain from using the term homosexuality, and instead use sexual deviancy. Iraq's National Penal Code does not contain explicit provision criminalizing homosexuality, though the country's judiciary authorities often invoke provision in laws related to the preservation of public morals to prosecute people from same-sex acts. The legal ambiguity has resulted in discrimination, abuse, and even fatal attacks against the LGBTQ community in Iraq, and rights group Amnesty International said the new directive could make things worse. The next international news of the day, the World Lion Day 2023. World Lion Day is observed on the 10th August annually on a global scale to raise awareness about their conservation and protection. The day serves as a platform to educate people about the challenges faced by the lions across the world and to promote efforts to conserve them, as well as to celebrate their majestic big cats and their significance in ecosystem and culture around the world. World Lion Day was first established in 2013 by Big Cat Rescue, the world's largest accredited sanctuary dedicated to lions, and it was co-founded by Derek and Beverly Jobert, a husband and a wife team who recognized the need to draw attention to the declining lion populations and the threats they were facing in the wild. The legal update for the day, Section court should first see if case of culpable homicide not amounting to murder. The apex court of the country recently observed in the case of Shaji versus State of Kerala that the session court has a duty of undertaking an exercise wherein they satisfy themselves whether a case of culpable homicide not amounting to murder is made out or not before proceeding with the trial of an accused with murder. The next legal update of the day: criminal antecedents of accused cannot be sole consideration to decline to quash criminal proceedings. By Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Mohammad Wazid versus State of UP and others. The Supreme Court has recently observed that the criminal antecedents of an accused cannot be the sole criteria for declining to quash the criminal proceedings. That's all for the today's news update and the legal news. Thank you so much.